Hello, everyone. This is part one of how to write an introduction. In this video, we will talk about how to write a good hook. But what is a hook? A hook is the first sentence or two that grabs the reader's attention. It makes them want to keep reading your essay. A hook can be a question, a surprising fact, an interesting idea, a quote, etc. Let's break down each type of hook. The first kind of hook we have are question hooks. So I'm going to give you different sentence starters for different types of questions. I'll give you questions that make it clear you agree, make it clear you disagree, or questions that are more in the middle. Let's see some sentence starters. What would the world look like if more places embraced? How could life improve if? What are the possible benefits of? In what ways could society thrive if? Next, we have questions that make it clear you disagree with the topic. What challenges might arise if? What are the potential risks of? What issues could arise from? And how could blank negatively affect daily life? Finally, we have questions that are more neutral. They don't really tell you 100% if you agree or disagree with the topic. We have, how would people feel if? What would the world look like if? How might the future be different if? And what might happen if? So you can use any of these sentence starters for your hook. Please use them. They are here to help you. Now let's look at some examples of how to finish these questions. We will be using the example topic, students should learn English in school, to help us finish our sentence starters. We have, what would the world look like if more people embraced learning English in school? What challenges might arise if students learned English in school? How would people feel if students were required to learn English in school? So each hook is from each type of question that I showed you before. The first one agrees with the topic, the second one disagrees with the topic, and the last one is more neutral. We don't know yet if they agree or disagree, and that's okay. However, if you ask a question, you must answer your own question. Why? Because this will transition into your background information. Let's see how we can answer these three questions. First, we have, what would the world look like if more people embraced learning English in school? If more people learned English, it would be easier for them to talk to others from different countries and share ideas. Now we have our second question. What challenges might arise if students learned English in school? Again, you must answer the question. Students might feel frustrated if they don't learn as fast as other students. Finally, we have our more neutral question. How would people feel if students were required to learn English in school? Some people would feel happy because it would help them in the future, but others might feel upset if they prefer to learn their own language. So we talked about both sides. We talked about people who might agree with the topic and people who might disagree with the topic because the hook is more neutral. Now, let's move on to a surprising fact. Here are some more sentence starters. Here's a surprise. Here's something surprising. Studies show that. Experts say that. And more than blank percent of, or less than blank percent of. For our first example, we have here's something surprising. Young children are usually better at learning new languages, including English, because their brains are more adaptable. Then we have studies show that around 1.5 billion people speak English worldwide. Now, let's see our interesting ideas. So the sentence starters we have are imagine, think about, picture, people always dream about. Our example says, imagine going to a new country and being able to talk to almost everyone. Now, just like a hook that is a question, you need to explain a little bit more. You can explain how people will react, how people will feel, or how people will be affected by this world we are imagining. We said people would have an easier time exploring new places and talking to new people. We did this because it will transition into our background information. Finally, we have our hook that is a quote. A quote is a direct statement said by another person. A good quote is a direct statement by an expert in the field of study you are focusing on. For example, we have one language sets you in a corridor for life. Two languages open every door along the way, says psychologist and educator Frank Smith. Then we have David Crystal, a man who is an expert in language and communication, says that learning language in schools often follows an approach that may not be suited to every student, particularly if they're struggling with the language from a young age. Now remember, if you use a quote, make sure you understand your quote, because what if your quote sounds more like you disagree, but then your essay is about how you agree with the topic? You will lose points for your introduction. So again, make sure you understand your hook and make sure it connects to your main idea, to your thesis statement. In our next video, we will talk about how to write background information.